So how literate are you? Now, I'm not talking about whether you can read or not, because obviously you got to this video somehow, but do you really know your finances as well as you know how to read? Financial literacy is crucial, and I'm gonna show you why. Now, not everything you hear is going to be correct, so which ones should you really be looking out for, especially when there's so much information taught out there that you're gonna be hearing? All right, first and foremost, why is financial literacy so important? Well, because money is like air, and like air, you need it to breathe, don't you? You know, some people would say money's a necessary evil. You just gotta have it. It's true. You know, whether you see it from that dark, deep place, that really pessimistic place, or you see it as a positive light, money is like air. You do need to have it in this current society, right? You gotta have money. Now, money is not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't have to be, but it is important to understand because money needs to flow, right? It's like anything in life. If you want to survive, there needs to be flow. You want to breathe, you need airflow. You want to live, there's got to be like water flowing, correct? Otherwise you die in a drought. If there's no water flow, there's no life. If there's no blood flow, you don't have life. And if there's no money flow, you don't have a financial life. And so money needs to flow through your life. Money coming in, and of course money's gonna be going out, but how do you really control that and really understand money so that it works for you? Which really leads me to my next point. There's just less life stress when you understand money. The sad thing is schools, although they try to teach you about money, normally they don't teach you a whole lot. And so you usually come out of school, even college, people come out of there. I mean, I took banking classes in high school. I took an accounting class as well for my sociology major in college, go figure, you know. I took those classes. All I learned how to do was write a check, which that's not even that useful nowadays, is it? Because most people don't even accept checks anymore. If you're still asking for checks, you're like, how old are you? You know? So it does give you less stress to understand how money works because it's just a part of your everyday life. You're dealing with bills, you know? You're dealing with, having to make income and how to even deal with taxes. I mean, taxes alone. My own kids as teenagers are saying, oh, Dad, I need to learn how to do my taxes. I said, I've got good news for you kids. Hire a good accountant and you won't have to learn that much about taxes. You just need to know the basics and that's it. But they stress about it because they're not even sure all the things they have to learn and deal with in life. That can be hard, and especially if you start dealing with debt. What if you take on mortgages and car loans and things like that? How do you make sure? If you have credit cards, how do you make sure to control that? All these things can add to your life stress. Life is stressful enough even without money. You have relationships, you have your own health, you have work and everything else going on in your life. You have children, you got all this stuff. But money, we don't need that to be more stressful, do we? So we want to understand to have less stress in our lives. The third one, of course, is going from surviving to thriving. This is where financial literacy really sets us apart because like I just described here, many people are just surviving. They're living from paycheck to paycheck, or even worse, as they say, there's too much month at the end of the money, right? They're like, oh crap, I'm out of money. How do we make it through till the next paycheck? And we made it. Woo, that was close. And there's other months you might say, yay, got a bonus, or you had that third week, that third paycheck that came through, or whatever it might be, right? And you're thinking you're great, and then the next month, oh, never mind. Or, all right, we're starting to get a handle on it, and oh, there's Christmas. Right? It's hard when you're just living paycheck to paycheck. You can't think about anything else. But if you have more financial literacy, it's easier to be able to thrive in your life. You can start to look at the quality of your life versus just living and breathing and just really, like, sadly enough, where people just want to pay bills and die. That's not what life is meant to be. You're meant to live a life that's worth more than just surviving and paying bills, right? You're so much more than that. You're here to leave a footprint on this planet. And that really leads me to my fourth point, is that if you want to create a legacy, you really need financial literacy. If you want your kids to have a better life than you do, they need to be financially literate, and that starts with you as that example. You need to lead the way as the leader of your family to ensure that your children, that you create a legacy that is better than what you were given from yourself. Because sadly enough, most parents don't talk about money with their kids. Their kids are just like what happened to you or what happened to me. Like whenever I heard about money, my dad would talk about it like it was something that was scarce, like it was never enough, right? Hey, we can't afford this. What do you think I am? Made of money? Money doesn't grow on trees, and he even say things like, work's gonna kill me. I'm gonna work until I'm dead. He was talking about survival, not thrival, right? If that's even a word. He was really talking about surviving. And that legacy, as he passed that down, he didn't really realize at the time, he passed down a lot of great things to us about good values and hard work. But when it came to money, that wasn't a legacy he was really passing down. He would pass down things like save everything, right? And try to avoid debt. But that was it, and so it has to go beyond that. It really requires you to do something more that you can pass down to your kid. And of course, like I said, live by example. Don't just be surviving, living day to day where money is just a scarce thing. It's a sore topic. It creates fights in the family. If that's the case, you don't want to pass that down to your kids. You want money to be a positive thing. You want it to be something that creates opportunities and possibilities in life, allowing them to be able to breathe easier, just like money is air, but let them breathe easier and have a better life. And that starts with you. Now, I will say this, it's not always your fault. Okay? Granted, what you do with this information is your fault. It's your responsibility to take this information and make it work for you. But the sad thing is that one, either they're not teaching you, like I said, they're not teaching you much in schools, or two, when you do hear advice, it's typically from a big scarcity-driven type of advice. Usually financial experts or financial advisors that are always coming at you judgmental, make it seem like you're not doing enough because they know more and you suck. Right? And the truth is that that can be farther from the truth. In fact, in many cases, what they teach you is crap anyways. I mean, when they're telling you to just be cheap, live on rice and beans, sacrifice everything, save everything, and of course, gamble it away in the stock market. So then when you try to get to retirement, you don't have enough there either. And then they blame you for not saving enough, even though you saved exactly like you said, like they told you to do. You saved it, you did everything what was supposed to be right, but it wasn't enough. This is also what happened to my dad. My dad, like I said, was cheap. The guy did not like spending money. He tried to save all he did. He paid off his house early. He was so proud of it. And I remember when I used to be a financial advisor, now I'm the anti-financial advisor, but I was that salesman in a suit, AKA financial advisor. I sat down with him. He said, Chris, I'm 61 years old. I want to retire at some point. What do I do? This was right after Y2K, so the market wasn't friendly to his retirement account. And so I'm looking at all of his numbers and I saw that he was debt free. He had his 401k. He was doing everything right. But I had to tell him, I said, Dad, if I can be honest, sadly, you got 5 years left to live. If you didn't have Social Security, you would have to hope to die in 5 years because that's when you would run out of money. Okay, Chris, that's not what I wanted to hear. What do I do? I said, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Well, something. I'm like, well, anything you've been doing is basically what I would say to do as a financial advisor. That was where I woke up, guys. I woke up because I realized the things that they teach you, even financial advisors teach you, won't cut it. It won't be enough. My dad did everything right, yet it wasn't enough to get him to be free. I then realized my own clients weren't financially free. I realized that every financial advisor in my office, and there's over 100 of them, none of them were financially free off of the investments. They were doing great from the commissions they were earning by investing the money that hadn't made anybody financially free, but they weren't free themselves. That's when I woke up and I had to quit. That's when I started to look for more answers, maybe like you are right now. Guys, that's when I started to find out there's other ways to do it. Creating passive income today versus squirreling and saving away for tomorrow. It's one thing to become financially literate from that traditional mindset, and there's some good people out there teaching some basic stuff, but it's not enough to create real freedom and a real legacy. That's where passive income comes in. That's what I started to learn. I started finding guys that did things like with real estate investing, and not just the traditional stuff that people, where they buy a house in their backyard. There's some pretty creative things you can do in real estate, although creative, can actually have real assets backing them up, not like the stock market that you can never know what's going to be worth from day to day. These things have real secure assets backing them up. Not risk-free, but in my mind, a lot less risky than gambling my money in the stock market where I have zero control. And on top of that, not only is it protected better, but I can create passive income now. Give you an example, I had a client who actually had $1 million he'd saved up in his retirement accounts, did everything right, but his financial advisor said he could only live on $30,000 a year. Well, guess what? After he started to invest in creating passive income with it, he's now living on $11,000 a month, over $130,000 a year. Can you imagine how much different that life is for him versus living at, a couple $1,000s a month versus having over $11,000 a month? Big difference. Now he's work optional. He works because he wants to, not because he has to. That is the key, guys. Now, if you want to learn more about that, check out this next video, how to achieve financial independence and retire early if you want to create that kind of legacy for you and your family. Check it out.